What's going on, everybody? Doc Genzo here with another duel video. Today we got PK versus BA. Let's go ahead and get into it. They're going to start us off with a Psychic Tracker and a Kagamucha Knight getting special summoned off the normal summon. They're going to get Link 2 into a Cherubini, Angel of the Burning Abyss. Now this is a very special duel, ladies and gentlemen, because we got a special guest on the right side of the table. You might recognize him as Chris from Team APS, if you can see his face, but maybe not. That's okay. He was gracious enough to let us film this duel. So, yeah, really excited to see how this turns out. Thinking about what he's going to dump a Cherubini here. Going to send a Phantom Knights of Ancient Cloak. Graph getting special summon now. Linking off the Cherubini and the Graph into a Phantom Knights of Rusty Bardiche. Bardiche's effect will now activate. Sending a Phantom Knight of Torn Scales, then setting a Phantom Knight Spell Trap, or a rank up. Setting a Fog Blade. Next up, Ancient Cloak is going to get banished to add a Silent Boots to hand, and then Torn Scale is going to activate by summoning itself whenever a Phantom Knight gets banished. Special summoning Silent Boots since he controls a Phantom Knight. Overlaying the 2 into a Break Sword. Bardiche's effect is going to pop the Break Sword. Then Break Sword's going to summon the Silent Boots, and Torn Scale's back as level 4s. This is going to lead those two off into a Predaplant Verte Anaconda. Then using Anaconda's effect. Summoning everybody's favorite fusion, a Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, after which he's going to banish Silent Boots in order to add a Fog Blade to hand. And passing the turn. Chris is going to draw for turn now. Looks like we're going to set enough back row to make Teller Knight players jealous. Then set a monster and pass in the turn. If you didn't know any better, you'd think he was playing Shadalls. But Dragoon is a hard thing to get over. Dragoon's going to activate now and pop the monster they put face down, which is a Fiendish Rhino Warrior, which will let him dump from the deck whenever it's into the graveyard. Getting his dump from the deck now. Dumping a Graph, Malbranch of the Burning Abyss. Then Graph will special summon whenever he's sent to the graveyard a Burning Abyss from the deck, summoning a Seer. Then Dragoon's going to pop the Seer, and then the Seer effect will go off. When it's sent to the graveyard to summon a Burning Abyss from the graveyard, summoning the Graph right back. Using Bardish's effect now to dump. Dumping a Phantom Knights of Ancient Cloak to set a Shade Brigandine. While we're cutting decks here, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Really helps the channel out. As we're going to check our back row and activate a Fiend Griefing on the resolution of the effect of Bardiche, targeting the Ancient Cloak. Then Dragoon's going to say no to that. Ancient Cloak is going to get banished now to search. Grabbing a Silent Boots. And then Torn Scales will summon himself back since a Phantom Knight was banished from the graveyard. Then Silent Boots will summon himself from the hand. In response to the summon, Needle Ceiling is going to get chained to basically wipe the board except for Dragoon, who cannot be destroyed by card effects. Trap Trick is going to be chained to the Needle Ceiling. Banishing a IDP to set an IDP. IDP stands for Ice Dragon's Prison, if you don't already know. Took me a minute to figure that out, but hey, got it. So all face-up monsters on the field will now be destroyed. Next up, Shade Brigandine is going to be activated. Since he has no traps in the graveyard, he can activate it the turn he sets it. Special Summoning itself as a level 4 normal monster. Linking it off into a Link Spider now. And attempting to swing for game. But before that can happen, IDP is going to get chained. And Lancia is going to get chained in an illegal play, as it is technically his turn, and Lancia cannot be activated from the hand unless it is your opponent's turn. However, this is not caught, so the game state will continue as Dark Magician is summoned and run over by the Dragoon, and then Link Spider will attack for 1,000. Then Silent Boots will be activated in the grave to banish. To grab a Fog Blade, it looks like. Yes, grabbing a Fog Blade. Setting the Fog Blade and then passing the turn. Drawing for turn now. Activating a Pot of Prosperity. Banishing 3 to excavate 3, but that's going to be negated by Dragoon. It's going to go up to 5,000 attack. That card is busted. Normal Summoning Tour Guide now. That's going to get Fog Bladed. There's nothing much else that can happen here. Trap Trick's going to get activated, though. And we'll see where this goes. Contemplating what he wants to banish here and set. Looks like he's going to go with the Fiend Griefing. And realizing he has to deal with a lot of graveyard stuff here. Shuffling back the Red Eyes Black Dragon into his deck from his graveyard with the Fiend Griefing, as he's going to activate it after he sets it, as Trap Trick lets him. And then dumping a level 3 from the deck. And then realizing that his BAs will get blown up by their own effects, we'll go to game 2. Alright, folks, here we are in game 2. BA are going to start us off here. So Chris has in store, as he's going to set 4 and pass the turn. Hopefully he does not top deck a Dinko. Activating a reinforcement of the army now. Collector's Rare not out at the time of this recording, but still wish I had one. Card is just lovely. Adding a Torn Scales to hand off that Rhoda. Normal summoning Torn Scales and then special summoning Kagemucha Knight off its own effect. And then Psychic Tracker is going to get special summoned. The extension is just crazy right now, people. Level 3 extension. Let's go. Then linking off the Psychic Tracker and the Kagemucha Knight into a nice Cherubini. Fallen Angel of the Burning Abyss. And then Cherubini's effect is going to dump a Phantom Knights of Ancient Cloak. Then using Torn Scales as effect. Sending a Forbidden Droplet from the hand to the graveyard in order to dump. I believe he dumps a Rugged Gloves here. Linking off the Seer that he just special summoned and the Cherubini now. Into a Rusty Bardiche. Attempting to use the effect of Rusty Bardiche now. And that's going to be on the receiving end of a Solemn Strike. Banishing the Ancient Cloak now, in order to grab a Silent Boots. Silent Boots will then special summon himself from the hand, since he controls a Phantom Knights monster. Overlaying the 2 into a Break Sword. Using Phantom Knight of Break Sword's effect. Detaching, forgetting to detach here, but he'll do that later. To target that one back row. Activating Fiend Griefing now. Remembering to detach now. And looks like that detach is going to be the target for Fiend Griefing, which is a really good choice. So you do not want that Torn Scales coming back. Then Fiend Griefing is going to dump from the deck. Dumping a Graph. Graph is going to special summon a Burning Abyss from the deck. Chaining Called by the Grave to negate it and banish it. Then Breaksword blows himself up, using his effect in the graveyard to special summon 2 Phantom Knights from the graveyard and make their levels 4. Summoning Silent Boots and Rugged Gloves. Or Ragged Gloves. One or the other. Activating Trap Trick on the summons. To banish an IDP to set an IDP. Linking off the 2 into a Predaplant Verte Anaconda. As is the move in these types of situations. Silent Boots will then be activated to add a Phantom Knight Spell Trap from the deck to the hand. Adding a Fog Blade. And then Verte is going to get activated. Going into everybody's favorite fusion, Red Eye Slash Dragon. Just kidding, it's another Dragoon. Swinging for 3,500 into directly to the life points. Shuffling through his graveyard a couple times there, and we're just going to pass the turn because he knows that IDP is waiting, so he's keeping that Fog Blade in the hand. Drawing for turn now. Let's see how Chris gets out of this one. Activating a Paleozoic Dinomecius. Discarding Graph for cost in order to banish the Anaconda since Dinomecius targets and you cannot target Dragoon. Then Graph is going to summon from the deck, of course. Summoning a Farfa. Then Seer's going to get summoned. Normal summoned. And then going through the extra now thinking about what his next possible play is. doing the math here, and here's where things get a little interesting. It seems that Chris may have thought that he took more damage than he did beforehand. Instead of 5,000, he thought it was 55 or something. I'm not quite sure. Either way, these things happen in card games. Going into Fortune Tune now. Moving into battle and swinging into the Dragoon. Taking 2,600 damage. Thinking that Fortune Tune buffs himself, but maybe not. Fortune Tune will detach to protect himself. Seer effect will special summon Graph. Graph should blow himself up here, but no game can be perfect, gentlemen. Realizing that Fortune Tune does not buff himself and thinking he's lost the game due to life points, but he is still at 400 actually, according to my math, although if I've done the math wrong, please let me know in the comments if I missed an effect or something. You can see where he's trying to go here. He's trying to go into Downer, then go into Zeus, and then force the negation of the Dragoon. That way he can chain the IDP to banish it. And then we're just going to call that game. Phantom Knights take the match.